Are you ready to take control of the web? To turn static HTML into dynamic interactive experiences? Welcome to the ultimate crash course on DOM manipulation. Consider subscribing if you are new to the channel, and let's dig down into the matter. DOM stands for Document Object Model, and from its name, it's an object model for the document. Which document are we talking about here? We are talking about XML and HTML documents. So DOM provides us an API which looks like a tree, and this tree is called DOM tree. Its structure changing any HTML file like this one, where we got the HTML, the head, the body, and inside the body we got a div and the script and so on. It changed this one into a structure called DOM tree. Now this DOM tree has a head, so we got something which is called the document object, right? And if you look at it, let's log it to the console. Just type document in JavaScript, and as you see, this API is already connected, so it's already in JavaScript. All you need to do is to call the document object, and as you see, here we go. This is the document object that we got, and it contains this tree, which is the hierarchy and structure of the HTML we got in this file, right? Now, in this document object, we got so much methods, endless methods, right? For example, forms, which basically give us an array of the forms we got. We got the body, which give us the body element. We got the head, which provides our head and the code inside it, as you see here. But not only that, we could create elements using the create element method on the document object, and then you give the type of this element. So in our case, let's just create a paragraph P. And as you see, it's logged to the console. Instead of that, let's just put it inside a variable. So constant, then we got a variable, let's call it winking face, right? And now this winking face we got is a paragraph element, but it's still empty. So we give it some inner text by calling the winking face dot inner text, which allows us to manipulate the text inside this element. And I would give the winking face here. Here we go. And then now we got the paragraph. Inside the paragraph we got to the winking face. That's why if we log the winking face to the console, you will see that it's a paragraph element containing the winking face. And now we could leverage the get element by ID method inside the document object. So to do that, we just call the document get element by ID. Then we can get this element that we want to. In our case, I'm gonna get this element, which is the neutral face. Let's check what we are really getting. So as you see, we are getting this element. After getting the element, we wanna append a child, and let's say that this child is winking face. And now if we look at the elements here, as you see, inside the neutral face, we got a paragraph containing this winking face. Now let's assume we got about 5 neutral faces. Let's just reset our script. So we got these 5 neutral faces. For the sake of good styling, I'm gonna create a div, right, and give it a class of flexbox. Now I would style this flexbox in the styling by calling the class. Just be sure that they are displayed as flex. Then justify the content to the center, and much better is to make the space between. Okay, now we got our neutral faces here, as you see. What if we want to get all of these neutral faces with a grab? Is it possible? For sure it's possible. And to do that, we just one more time use the document object. On the document object we call query selector, and then you got 2 of these. Since we are going to call all the selectors, we choose query selector all, and then we give the class that we want to grab. We want to be sure that it's a class and it's not an ID. It doesn't make sense to have an ID here since these are different elements. And then we give the class that we want to target, right? So neutral face. Now let's put this whole thing in a variable and call this variable neutral faces, which is gonna be an array. And to prove that, let's log it to the console. Neutral faces. Nice. Now we got the array containing all of our elements with the class neutral face. What we could do is to massively change all of these. And to do that, first we want to loop inside the array. I would do it using the for each method. So for each element, let's call the element el. Let's log first to the console this particular element that we have chosen, right? Gotta remove this one. As you see, we got our 5 elements. Now, instead of logging it to the console, let's log just the inner text or the inner HTML into the console. We got this smiley face. Now, all we need to do is to replace it with the winky face. To do that, let's remove the log to the console and basically set this inner HTML, and much better would be to set the inner text to this winkle. And as you see, oof, magic has happened, right? And this is the power of DOM manipulation and the power of the document object. And if you understand the methods, that's so powerful. Now, let's leverage one more thing and explain it, which is the event listeners. To do that, basically, I'm gonna add a button. So let's add a button, and I'm gonna call this button wink, right? And give it an ID of wink. Now on this button, which we are going to grab using its ID, so document get element by ID, we get this wink element, and on it, we wanna add a listener. So add event listener, and this event would be click. So when clicking, we wanna do something, right? So this thing that we are going to do is basically to grab all the neutral faces and change them to winking faces. And we do that by pasting this logic inside this function. So now, whenever we are clicking on this button, it's gonna wink, right? Just refresh one more time. We click, it winks. We click, it winks. I explain, you like and subscribe. subscribe to be a better coder. Here's Rajad, see you in the next video.